Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to summer course in Medical Physics 2024. Today, we will enter the realm of CT image quality. And before we start our lecture session, I want to remind for all participants to fill the attendance list that have been given in the chat room. And this morning session will be delivered by Dr. Hoirul Anam with the topic of CT number consistency, uniformity, and homogeneity, and its measurement using IndoQCT. Okay, without any further ado, please welcome Dr. Hoirul Anam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's clear, Mr.
Okay, thank you. Okay, today we will discuss on the CT image quality, and 3 days we have discussed about the CT dosimetry. Okay, and now we will present about the CT number consistency, uniformity, and homogeneity. Okay, and today is the 4th day of our summer course, and we have 2 sessions today. In the morning session, we'll discuss about the CT number consistency, and evening session will be delivered by Professor Wahyu, and we'll discuss on the laser alignment accuracy. Okay, and now we will discuss on the introduction, and then we move to the phantom, the type of phantom for image quality in the CT scanner, and then we move to discuss on the CT number consistency, and then CT number uniformity, and then CT number homogeneity, and we also discuss how to develop the histogram of CT number and profile number, and we will end the conclusion. This is the references, and these references are available freely. Quality control in diagnostic radiology, published by the AAPM, report number 74. And this one is the latest publication by AAPM, report number 233, also available freely. And this one is published by the IAEA Human Health Series number 19. Quality Assurance Program for Computed Tomography, Diagnostic and Therapy Application. And these 3 references are available freely on the website, and you can download by yourselves. Okay, as already discussed yesterday by Dr. Nordiana, the dose optimization is important, and the base of and the reference, the point of the dose optimization is not about the dose, but about the image quality, meaning that we should have the image with the quality to establish the diagnosis, and this image quality should be obtained with the smallest possible dose. So the key point of the dose optimization is the image quality. It is important because the dose reduction is very easy to achieve by only the reduction of the MA tube current. The dose will decrease, but the image quality maybe is very bad to establish the diagnosis. So the image quality should be obtained in the quality, with the quality to establish the diagnosis. And after that, this image quality should be obtained with the smallest possible dose. This is the concept of the dose optimization. So the characterizing the image quality is important for the dose optimization. And there are many metrics for the image quality. And what are they? What do they mean? And how are they determined? And inshallah, in this workshop, we will discuss what is the metrics for the image quality and how to determine the image quality. Okay, before we discuss about the metrics of the image quality, I should remind you that in the clinical setting, there are many types of tests. For the first test is the acceptance test and commissioning. So when the equipment, our CT scanner, has already installed in our department, for example, and then we do the acceptance test and commissioning to ensure that the equipment that has been installed is according to the specification and safe for use on the patient. And this commissioning can be considered as the baseline for the next examination. And after our CT scanner be used in the clinical setting, then the quality control should be done in the regular basis. It can be daily, weekly, monthly, or annually, or semi-annually. So this periodic evaluation is important to ensure the sustainable equipment performance during the use in the clinical setting. So in the clinical setting, the most important thing of the test is the acceptance test and the quality control. And we can see here the life cycle of the equipment, especially for the CT scanner. If we want to purchase this scan, so the equipment specification is very important. And after that, the tender, and after that, the purchase contract, and everything is okay. And then the equipment is come to our department, and then the equipment will be installed. And then the critical examination on behalf of the installer. And after everything is ready, and then acceptance test on the behalf of purchaser, and then we do the commissioning. After the commissioning, and then our equipment, our CT scanner, been used for the clinical application. And then the routine performance testing is done by the quality control program. If the our scanner is within the standard, so our scanner can be used in daily application. But if there are the problem, maybe some metric is failed, it's not within the limitation, so the component replacement should be done. And after that, we do the test again. So the all metric are within the specification. And after that, we can use our equipment in the clinical application. So maybe if the metric is not within the tolerance level, and we can do the replacement, so maybe our equipment should be disposal or sale, and we replace with the new CT scanner or new equipment. This is the life cycle of the equipment in the hospital or in the clinical application. This is the performance, the example of the performance of our scanner along the time. Maybe this is the baseline. The baseline is from the commissioning, and we have the tolerance level, and we have the damage level. In the beginning, our scanner is very good, and then after the application, so our scanner maybe the performance is decreased by the and maybe in the some cases our scanner is in the damage level, and that should be replaced or should be replaced by another equipment. So by using the quality control, we can ensure that our CT scanner have the good performance to do the in clinical setting. And this is the based on the APM report of 74. There are many parameters should be measured for our scanner, both for the image quality and also for the dosimetry. For example, the image noise, artifact, CT number, uniformity, CT number, accuracy, the slice thickness, CT number, linearity, low contrast detectability, dose profile, slice position accuracy, spatial resolution, dosimetry, hard copy film, and so on. And based on the APM report, the QC should be done in daily, monthly, and biannually. This is based on the APM report number 74. And you can download the publication freely. And maybe there are another measurement for the image quality and all dosimetry, for example, for the research purposes or for the dose optimization, and also the measurement be performed by the another agency, for example, for the compliance test. In Indonesia, the compliance test should be done by the national agency, Bapeten. And the national Bapeten, after doing the measurement, they will consider the equipment can be used in the clinical setting or not. Okay, like that. This is the compliance test, and it's done by the Bapeten in Indonesia. Okay, and now we move to the very simple, the most simple metrics for the image quality of the CT scanner. Okay, there are the principal image quality for the CT. They are consistency of CT number, linearity, noise level, spatial resolution, slice thickness, low contrast detectability. And today, we will discuss on the CT number consistency, and in the afternoon session, we will discuss about the laser alignment. And another parameters such as the CT number, linearity, noise, we will discuss in the next days. Okay, we back to the consistency of the CT number. Okay, for measuring the image quality, of course, we cannot do that on the clinical patient image directly, but we should do using the phantom. Because by using the phantom, the quality can be set in the standard, so we can assure that our system is within the standard or not. Okay, there are many phantom available in the market. such as the AAPM City Performance Phantom, RCR Accreditation Phantom, CAT-FAN Phantom. And every phantom, such as the CAT-FAN, also have the many types. For example, the 400, the type 400, 404, 405, 500, 504, and so on. So there are many type of phantom available in the market. And manufacturer also have their own phantom, such as the Siemens, GE, Philips, Canon, Newsoft, and so on. They also have their own phantom. But the phantom, by using the manufacturer phantom, the metric for the image quality is limited. If you want to measure all parameters or most parameters available, you can use another phantom such as the AAPM or RCR or CAT-FAN phantom. Okay. And inshallah, we will discuss how to measure the image quality using many phantom. And the IndoQCT, Alhamdulillah, can cover the image quality from many type of phantom, but not all from all phantom. So if you have the phantom and the image quality have not been covered by the IndoQCT, and then you can email me, and we can include your images in the IndoQCT. Okay. Okay, and this is the example, the phantom of the AAPM. So basically, the AAPM phantom, they contain many modules for image quality parameters, such as this one is module for contrast test object for the low contrast detectability. And this module and this object can be filled using the contrast agent and so on. And this one, the module contain many objects for the city number linearity. And this one is the module for measuring the spatial resolution, either by the visual assessment or by the MTF, modulation transfer function. And this module is for measuring the slice thickness. And please be reminded that every or each vendor or each manufacturer, each phantom, they have the specific design of the module. So maybe the design is different from each phantom. This is another module within the AAPM phantom. This one is for the alignment, and this one is for the low contrast detectability. And also they are optional, for example, the whole body resolution and noise ring. And also the optional for the TLT insert for measuring the symmetry. And this one is for the measuring the low contrast detectability with 3 different contrasts like this. This is available in the market. And this is the example of the images of the CAT-FAN phantom. This one. This was is images for the city number linearity, and this one is for measuring the distance accuracy. This one is for measuring the spatial resolution, and this one is for measuring the MTF by using the point spread function, and this one for measuring the water city number of the water. And this one is for measuring the low contrast detectability. And of course, in the CAT-FAN phantom, there are 3 materials having 3 different contrasts, and it can be used for assessing the low contrast detectability. This one is the example of the images of the OCR phantom. And this one we can measure the city number linearity using 4 objects here. And this one is for measuring the slice thickness. And this is the point object can be used for measuring the laser alignment. And the second one is used for measuring the city number accuracy, for measuring the city number uniformity. And this is the point can be used for measuring the MTF. And actually there are 2 points, this one and this one, can be used for measuring the distance accuracy. And many parameters, of course, can be measured using this module. And this one is a module for measuring the low contrast detectability. Actually, in the OCR phantom, only one type of the object for measuring the city number low contrast detectability, with the contrast of 6 different. The contrast is 6 Hounsfield unit. Yeah, and this one is for measuring the spatial resolution by the visual assessment. Okay, there are the examples of the phantom and also their modules for measuring the image quality. Okay, and now we move to the measure the city number consistency. And these parameters maybe is the basic one. It's very simple to do for measuring the city number consistency of the water. Okay, as we already understood that the city number consists, the city image consists of the picture element, and the picture element has size, has the depth, pixel values, and the pixel values within the image is represent the mu linear coefficient attenuation. So the image of the city is considered the map of the mu, map of the linear coefficient attenuation. So the values of the mu is having the wide range for very small to the very high. And to be simple, so the mu is the calibrated and normalized with the water. So the city number is the map of the mu normalized by the city number of the water. So the equation like this. The mu minus by mu water and divided by the mu water multiplied by 1000. So by the definition, if we have the water minus by water will be 0, and 0 multiplied by 1000 with 1000 will be 0. So by the definition, the water should be 0, and air is 0. 0 minus by the mu water. My mu water divided by mu water will be -1. -1 multiplied by 1000 should be -1000. So by the definition, the water will be 0 and the air will be -1000 Hounsfield unit. Okay, this is the city number. But actually, the image is not in perfect city number. So maybe there are fluctuations. There are many factors affecting the city number, such as the noise, such as the artifacts, such as the miscalibration, and so on. So although the water should be 0, but actually the values maybe -1, maybe -2, -3, +2, +6, and so on. So there are and we measure not only in 1 pixel, but within the ROI, region of interest. So the average of city number within the ROI should be 0. But actually, maybe there are deviation from the 0. And the tolerance level maybe from the -4 to the +4 Oswald unit. And some agency, some regulation may be state from the -5 to the +5. Okay. And maybe in some regulation, they state that the city number of the water should be within -7 to +7. So maybe the different agencies has set the different standard. And in Indonesia, Bapeten state that the city number of water should be within -4 to +4 Hounsfield unit. So we should measure the city number of the water, and the values should be within the tolerance level. And any deviation maybe come from the miscalibration or other aspect, for example, from the artifact and so on. This is the image for measuring the city number consistency of the water from the ABM performance phantom. We can use this type of the image, and this one is from the RCR city accreditation phantom, and this one is from the CAT phantom. So we can see and recognize the image for measuring the city number accuracy of the water. And basically this object in the center is for the alignment, and these 2 objects, very small point object, is for measuring the MTF and distance accuracy. But we can measure the city number consistency of the water by using in the homogeneous region within this image. And this is the examples of the objects, image of the object of the water is from the Siemens Newsoft. Newsoft maybe has the different size, and this one from the Hitachi, from the Philips also has the different size, and so on. So I think the very basic one of the phantom is the water phantom. And actually this water phantom can be used for measuring the city number accuracy of the water. Okay. And actually by using the individuality, we can also measure the many parameters by using this type of phantom. Yeah. For example, we can also measure the parameters of the low contrast detectability by using the statistical method. We can also measure the spatial resolution using the edge of the phantom and so on. And we will discuss later in the next session. And today we focus on measuring the city number accuracy of the water. Okay, and if we measure the city number accuracy of the water, we not only measure in 1 pixel, but we measure on many pixels within the ROI, region of interest. And ABM stated that the OI diameter should be around 10% of the phantom diameter. So not very small, but relatively wide ROI. And this is the standard. The GE, for example, specifies a mean water value is within ±3 Hounsfield unit. And for example, for the Health Canada Safety Code, state that water values should be within -4 to +4. And for air, must be within +4 plus and minus 10 Hounsfield unit of the minus 1000. And European guideline on quality criteria state the city number of the water should be within plus minus 4. And this is the standard from the IAEA. This is measurement, and the IAEA state that the image quality can be measured by the radiographers, and also can be measured by the medical physicists. For the simple parameters such as the city number, water accuracy can be measured by the radiographers, and for the more sophisticated parameters should be measured by the medical physicists. Okay, IAEA state that the standard for the city number of the water should be measured monthly, and the standard is within minus 5 to plus 5 Hounsfield unit for the acceptable criteria. And for the achievable criteria is within minus 4 to plus 4 Hounsfield unit. This is the measurement by the radiographers. And this one is the standard, and also parameters to be measured by the medical physicists based on the report of the IAEA. But the tolerance level is similar. The acceptable is minus 5 to plus 5, and for the achievable is from minus 4 to plus 4. Okay, this is the example of the study for measuring the city number accuracy. For example, the quality control of city system by automated monitoring of the key performance indicator by the NOWIC. This is the example. We can see here, and this is the example of measuring the city number accuracy from year 2017 to from 2012, 2014. And we can see here, there are sometimes the values out of the tolerant limits. So maybe after that, the corrections should be taken, and then the city number back to the tolerance level again. And sometimes maybe there are many problem again, and then the city number out of the last level, and then the effort be taken, and then back to the standard level again. So it is important to measure the city number accuracy maybe regularly, because sometimes our equipment is not in good performance. Again, this is the method how to measure the city number of water accuracy on the RCR Phantom. So by using the index QCT, we can measure it manually or automatically. And we can also set the size of the ROI. For the automatic measurement, the software will detect the center of the image and locate the ROI accurately in the center of the image. And of course, we can also set the size of the ROI and so on. And we can also measure not only in one slice, we can also measure the city number accuracy of the water in many slices. So if you want to measure the city number of the water for many slices, we should change these parameters. Okay. If you measure the city number on HCR Phantom, you should change the type of the Phantom. In this case, the RCR Phantom, and we choose the first step in the right position, and then we choose the accuracy. And after that, we can change the parameters. Although in the QCT have set the standard one of the input parameters. And of course, we can set automatic or manual. And if we set the manual, the button to create the ROI and will be available, and we can locate the ROI within the in the location we want to do. Okay, this is the example how to measure the city number or the accuracy of water on the OCR phantom. And this is the ROI within the phantom. And this one is for the APM phantom. So because in the center, there are the object for the alignment. So the ROI is not in the center, but move away from the center, can be up, down, or left or right. And we can set here, we can set the ROI shifting, and we can set the distance for in this example is 40 pixel from the center. Okay, and of course we can change this set. Okay, this setting. Okay, if you measure the city number accuracy of the water for the APM phantom, and the first you should change the phantom type. You should set the phantom phantom type, the APM phantom, and then you click the first step in the right position, and then you choose the accuracy, and then you, if you want to measure the automatic, you only click this button, the calculate button, and then your ROI will be available here. This is for the APM phantom. And this one is the example for the CAT-FAN phantom. So because the CAT-FAN phantom, there are homogeneous, true homogeneous object. So the ROI will be located in the center position like this. And of course, you should change the phantom type to the CAT-FAN phantom. And this is the ROI in the center position of the phantom. And after you measure the, for example, the accuracy of the city number, you can save your number, and this number will be saved in the database. And the database can be seen and can be managed by using the button located in the left position. Yeah, this is for seeing our database. This is the example of measuring of the of our database. Actually, if each parameter has its own database. For example, this database for the city number accuracy, city number uniformity, and so on. City number of multiple object, accuracy, linearity, noise level, uniformity, NPS, and so on. Okay, because in this case, we only measure the city number of the water, accuracy of the water. We have the data, and our data can be exported to, for example, to the Excel for analysis. And by using in the QCity, we can also analyze our data. In this example, we can measure and we can plot our data from specific time to another specific time. For example, maybe like this. The x-axis is the can be ID of the image or can be times, and the y-axis is the mean values of the city number, and this is the standard indicated by the dotted line here. And we can see here we can see that our result is within tolerance level, except this at this time, because this our data is out of the standard. Okay, and we can also make the report and make our data to the PDF, maybe for the report or for the more safe data. Okay, this is the can be done by using the IndoQCity. Okay, and now we move to the city number uniformity. The city number uniformity is also very important parameters in the image quality. If we have the phantom consisted only with water, and we expect that the city number will be similar across the image from one position to another. But in the fact, maybe the fact is not we expected, because the city number may be different from one location to another. So the city number uniformity is the parameter to ensure that our pixel values, our city number is within the uniformity. Yeah, in the city image, there are many factors affecting the city number uniformity. For example, there are maybe artifact come from the beam hardening artifact, or maybe because when we setting our phantom, but there are misalignment, for example, because the city machine using the Pauti filter. So any misalignment will make the city number uniformity is broken, for example. So by measuring the city number uniformity, we ensure that our image is free from the beam hardening artifact or any artifact. This is the example of the beam hardening artifact appear in the image. And we can see here, in the center of the image, the city number will be lower and the appearance will be darker. And at the peripheral location, the city number will be higher and the appearance will be lighter, like this. The beam hardening artifact comes from the fact that our X-ray beam is not monoenergetic, but with the spectrum polyenergy. So if the X-ray travel to the phantom or the body, the low energy will be absorbed. So the beam reach to the center position maybe have the more high energy compared to the energy in the peripheral location. So the absorption will be different in the center and the peripheral location. And this is the beam hardening artifact. And this beam hardening artifact will cause the city number uniformity maybe out of the tolerance level. Now, this is another example of the artifact, is the ring artifact. As I already mentioned in the first meeting, the ring artifact is come from the not uniformity performance of the detector, because in the city we have an array of the detector and the performance of each detector is not similar, and this result in the ring artifact. Okay, maybe in our system has the system how to reduce the ring artifact, but in some cases, in some level, the ring artifact maybe still exists in our image. Okay, by using the city number uniformity parameters, we can see and we can characterize the city number uniformity. And this is the example and why the ring artifact exists in our image. And this is the very severe ring artifact exists in our image. Okay, by using the city number uniformity, this artifact will be detected, and maybe if the city number uniformity out of the tolerance level, so the replacement or refinement should be taken. And this one, this is another artifact. This one is the windmill artifact, and this artifact comes from the spiral acquisition of the city. As we already discussed earlier, there are two modes of the city scanner: mode, the axial mode and the spiral mode. If we use the very high pitch, maybe in some cases the windmill artifact will be occur. It will be exist in the image. This is maybe happen, especially for the Kunpim city also. So if we use the wide beam and with the very fast pitch, okay, the windmill artifact will be exist in our image. So by measuring the city number uniformity, our artifact will be detected. And if the values are out of tolerance level, the care should be taken, and maybe the replacement or other things should be taken to adjust our city image. Okay, the city number uniformity is basically very easy to be measured by using 5 ROIs. The first, the ROI in the center, and 4 ROI are located in the peripheral location, in the 3, 6, 9, and 12 clock location. And then we measure the average city number within each ROI, and then we subtract the city number at the peripheral location with the central location, and then we look for the maximum values. So the maximum values between the city number at the peripheral and the center is the city number uniformity. Like this. This is the ROI for measuring the city number uniformity. Basically 5 ROIs. And the ROI for the peripheral location should be around 1 diameter of the ROI from the edge of the phantom. So for the manual calculation, I think it is tricky. Maybe in some cases, if we, this is not, this failed, this is not in tolerance level, so we can move a little slightly to another location. This is the case if we use the manual calculation, but by using the automatic calculation, we will get the objective result. Okay, the ROI have a diameter that correspond to 10% of the phantom diameter, and the peripheral ROI are placed around 1 centimeter or one size of the ROI from the edge. And this is the equation for calculating the city number uniformity. Has city number maximum minus by city number minimum from each ROI. And the standard from the Bapeten, the city number uniformity should be within 4 city Hounsfield unit. This is the standard from the IAEA, and we can see here the city number uniformity for the acceptable is within of 10 Hounsfield unit, and for the achievable should be 4 Hounsfield unit. And this one also from the IAEA for the medical physicists, and you can see here that the image uniformity for the acceptable should be within 10 Hounsfield unit for head and body phantom, and achievable is for 4 Hounsfield unit for head and body phantoms. And this is the study done by Hasbi and published in the GSEMP, Journal of Applied Clinical Medical Physics. And they studied 100 days with the scan of the same CAT-van phantom on the same CT scanner. And this is the result. And we can see here that and they measured the CT number uniformity either in axial and also helical modes. And we can see that the result from 1 day to 100 days, the result are in the tolerance level. I think within the 4 Hounsfield unit. This is another study by Novik and also published in the GSMP. And we can see here the CT number uniformity for all time they do measurement and they do study. The uniformity is within the tolerance level. And this is the measurement of the CT number uniformity by using the QCT in the OCR phantom. So by using the QCT, we should use the tab number 2. This one is the deformity, and we can choose the automatic or manual. If you measure the manual one, you choose here the manual, and then 5 button will be appear here, will be exist here. But if we choose the automatic, and this button will be disappear, and only the calculate button will be exist here. Okay, and after that we click this button and will be ROI here, and we can locate the ROI to the proper position. And after that, we just click the calculate button, and we can get the values of the ROI on the CT number within all ROI. And the QCT will calculate the maximum difference. The maximum difference is considered as the CT number uniformity. And this is the standard. Yeah, we can set the standard from the PEPATEN or from Indonesia or from IAEA, and we can also set the standard from our baseline. So you can get this button, the set button, and you can set the standard. It can be PEPATEN, it can be IAEA, or it can be from the OCR, or it can be your baseline. Okay. Okay, of course, the tip of the phantom, and then the number 1 in the right position, and the subtype number 2. And you can set the input parameters for measuring the CT number uniformity. And this is for the manual one. There are 5 buttons. And if you choose the automatic one, so it is only 1 button. And if you click this button, you will have the image like this. And the 5 ROIs will be automatically located by in the QCT, and you will have this result, and this is the standard. In this example, and the PEPATEN standard is the CT number uniformity should be within the 2 Hounsfield units. So because our result is 2.1, so the result is the out of tolerance level. But I think this standard is very tight. IAEA only 4 for the acceptable, and 10 Hounsfield unit for the achievable. Okay. And then we move to another matrix, and I call it as the CT number homogeneity. Okay. This is the paper describing the CT number homogeneity from the Novik. Yeah, the CT number homogeneity was introduced in order to increase the likelihood of identifying artifact. Because sometimes by using the serial number uniformity, by using only 5 ROI within in the center position and the peripheral location, sometimes the artifact is not detected because the ROI is very limited, only 5 ROIs. So if we want to detect artifacts more specifically, so the many ROI should be located within the image. So, and Navik said that contiguous rectangular 32 by 30 pixel should be located in all positions within the ROI and cover the circular area with a diameter of 85%. Okay, this is stated by the Navik. And this is the ROI within the image. So it is difficult to do that by using the automatic. Of course, it is possible, but it needs a longer time. Okay, but by using the software, it is very easy to perform this measurement. And this is my paper. It is accepted in the journal Technology, published in Malaysia. Which is better for detecting the beam hardening artifact, by using city number uniformity or by using the city number homogeneity. This is the result. It is by using the city number uniformity and by using the city number homogeneity, and this is the result we can see here. By using the city number, this is the image reconstructed with the filter back projection without beam hardening correction, and this one by using the filter back projection plus beam hardening correction. And we can see here by using the city number uniformity, the beam hardening artifact is not detected. Okay, we can see here for the beam hardening image, the city number uniformity is lower than for Huntsville unit. And by using the city number homogeneity, we can see here the values will be around 15, meaning that the beam hardening artifact well detected by using the city number homogeneity. But until now, the city number homogeneity is not mandatory by any agencies. Okay, in Indonesia and I think also in Malaysia, the quality control only be done in by using the city number uniformity. Yeah, it is can be understood. Yeah, because the measuring the city number homogeneity is not easy to do. Okay. And until now, there are standards for the city number homogeneity, but the paper of Navik, they state that the city number homogeneity should be within 5 Huntsville units. Okay, this is the result by the Navik for the city number homogeneity, and they resulted the city number homogeneity along the time across the time is still within the tolerance limit. And of course, we can do that by using the QCity, okay, and very simple, okay. And the first one, you should open your image and then you set your phantom, your phantom, and then you select your tab in the right position, and then you select the homogeneity. And by using the IndoQCity, you can also choose manually or automatically. Manually meaning that you should locate by yourself the ROI within the image. But the automatic method, the software will detect in the center position. Okay. And then you get the maximum values and the minimum values. And the inhomogeneity will be calculated as the difference between the maximum and minimum. And of course, there are no standard for the city number homogeneity. Okay, this is the example, and you can also change the distance ratio for the standard for the city in the Q city will set 85%, but actually you can change this distance ratio from the edge of the vector. Okay, this is the smaller distance ratio. In this one, using the 85% distance ratio, and this one using the only 65 distance ratio from the edge. Okay, this is the result. And by using the endocuity, the endocuity will detect our image. For example, if we use OCR phantom or APM phantom, because there are objects for another measurement, for example, this position is for measuring the MTF. So this position should be avoided, should be exclude from the calculation of the city number homogeneity. So the endocuity will detect that location automatically and will exclude the city number at that location. Okay, so don't worry about the existence of the another object within the homogeneous random. Okay, this is the two objects have been excluded from the measurement. And this one is the example of the APM phantom. Yeah, because there is one object in the center, and this position also excluded for the city number homogeneity measurement. Okay, this is the result. And then by using the city number, maybe in some cases we want to measure also the histogram. So by using the endocuity, we can measure the histogram. But this histogram is, I think, is rather different from the previous one, because the previous one is only one line. But in the endocuity, we can choose the histogram from maybe 5 line together, either in the vertical and horizontal directions. This is the city number histogram. Okay, maybe the city number histogram, maybe it is important for another application. And we can, for example, detect the type of the, for example, the distribution of the city number by using the histogram. And we can also, of course, detect the skewness or kurtosis or any other parameters by using the histogram. This is the, we can see here, and that maybe by using the histogram, we can see the type of the histogram, for example, the Gaussian or Rayleigh or Erlang and so on. But for the city, I think using the filter back projection, the city number will be follow the Gaussian distribution. But I don't know if we use the iterative reconstruction or by using the deep learning reconstruction. Maybe they do not follow the Gaussian histogram. Maybe, but we can evaluate using our study. This is another exponential, uniform, impulse, and so on. Okay, by using the endocuity, we can choose the subtype number 4 for measuring the histogram, and of course we can also set the parameters, and we can also set either automatic or manual one. And if you choose the automatic, by clicking this button, and we have this ROI, and we can also set the ROI, the size of the ROI, and we will get automatically the histogram of the city number. And if we use, for example, the OCR phantom or APM phantom, as already mentioned, that there are objects within the homogeneous phantom, then the location within the object will exclude for measuring the histogram. Okay, this is the example of the histogram we obtained from the automatic measurement. And sometimes we not only histogram, we also measure the profile. So by using the QCT, we will get the profile. For example, if you want to detect, for example, the beam hardening artifact, we will get the profile. And we can see here visually in the right position, the beam hardening artifact is not exist, but in the left position, there is beam hardening artifact. It can be detected easily by using the profile. This is the study by the Lim from Malaysia. They detect the profile of the image in the homogeneous water or homogeneous object phantom. So you can see here, this one is image with the beam hardening artifact, and this one is the beam hardening artifact is not exist. And by using this profile, we can also measure the integral non-uniformity, INU. The INU can be measured by using this one, maximum values minus by the minus, divided by the maximum plus the minus. And we can also obtain these values automatically by using the QCT. This is example of the QCT. And for the QCT, we not only get the profile in one line, but we can also measure the average, maybe from the 3 lines, 5 lines, 9 lines, and so on. Okay, this is the example of the profile measured by the QCT. Okay, in conclusion, the measurement of image quality in CT is important, and the measurement of the image quality should use the phantom. It can be APM, SCR, GETPHAN, on also by using the vendor's phantom such as Siemens, Philips, and so on. And there are many parameters, but the basic one is the CT number consistency of the water and CT number uniformity, or maybe CT number homogeneity. And in the QCT can be used to measure the Hounsfield unit consistency and also CT number uniformity easily. Okay, and in addition, in the QCT can also measure the CT number homogeneity, CT number histogram, and also CT number profile. This is our acknowledgement to all scientists contribute to the CT technology and also for all authors cited in this presentation. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention. And after this, we can try together how to use the QCT. Okay, please open your QCT. Okay, I will open the QCT. Sorry. Okay, by using this button, the shortcut, and double click, and the QCT will appear in our screen.
Masih kerja-kerja itu sama aja ya.
Okay, we can continue. Yeah, we wait for a while until the QCT is already set in our screen. Yeah, this is the graphical user interface of in the QCT. And okay, I will. Sorry, I have to. Okay. As already mentioned in the previous session, we can open our image by using the file button or a folder button, or we can also using the example for education. Okay, in this occasion, I will use the example button, and maybe at the first I will try using the OCR Phantom. Okay, this is the OCR Phantom, and this is the example. So if you measure the image quality for specific parameters, you should see the example, and you should make sure that the image in the Windows is similar to the example. Okay, this is the example of the homogeneous object. So we should go to the image like that. Yeah, this is the example. This is similar. And you can also enlarge. This is the enlarge of your example. Okay. Okay. And to measure the city number accuracy, the first one you should change to the OCR Phantom here, OCR Phantom, and then you should click the city number water tabs, the number one, the first tab, and then accuracy, and this one is the option, either automatic or manual. If you check the manual one, you will have the ROI like this. For example, and you can also check set the ROI types. For example, the circle, or maybe the square, or maybe the polygon. But I think the most type of the ROI is the circle, this one. And you can set the ROI diameter. In this example, we use the 40 pixels. Okay, and this is the manual one. If you choose the manual one, you can click this ROI button. So we will have the ROI, and then we can look at the ROI in the center of the image. Okay, just like this, for example. And after that, we just click the calculate button. Okay, and this is our ROI location in the image, and we will have the values like this. The main value will be -2.7, like this. And this is the standard, of course, because we use the Pemberton standard. The mean value will should be within the 4 Hounsfield units. So our result is pass here. If our values greater than 4 or lower than -4, so the result will fail here. This is example. If we measure the city number accuracy using OCR Phantom. Okay, I think basically it's very easy. And sometimes you in your hospital or in your center, you only one Phantom. For example, you have the Captain Phantom, for example. So you will not to change this one every day. So you can set in the setting button like this. You click here, and then you can set the Phantom. In this example, I set to the OCR at the default Phantom. So in this example, we can set to the, for example, the Cat Fan 604, for example. So if we set here, so sorry, this already set here. This one you can see here. If you close your in the QCT and you enter again, so the Phantom will be Cat Fan Phantom, because you already set the Phantom to the Cat Fan. And you can also set another parameters, for example, the standard. Sorry. Can set this one. The method, you can set the automatic or manual. The standard, yeah, this one you can set from the BPTN for Indonesian, APM, IAEA, RCR, or you can set baseline. So to set the baseline, you click the baseline, and then you fill your baseline. Maybe this baseline is come from the commissioning, from the commissioning, and then you set the you click your set. So the setting will be your baseline, and you can compare your values in the regular quality control to your baseline. Okay, this is example. I will try to another. Okay, maybe we back to the OCR Phantom. This one. This is for the city number accuracy. And the second one, we will try to measure the city number uniformity. So we click the uniformity. And maybe you want to measure manually, for example, manual one. If you click the manual one, so there are 5 ROI buttons here. So you click number 1 and move to the center, for example. You then click number 2 and move to another position. Number 3 in other position. Number 4 in other position. Number 5 in other position. And after that, if you already set in the correct position, and then you calculate the button. Okay, this is our ROI, and this is our result. ROI number 1, ROI number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5, and we automatically have the maximum difference, meaning the uniformity, and the values 2.2. And these values compared to the standard from the BPTN is failed because the BPTN said the values should be within 2 Hounsfield units. Okay, this is the example of the manual calculation of the city number uniformity. And if you want to make measurement automatically, so choose the automatic one, and you can set these parameters, for example, or you can use this default standard, and then you only click this button. Okay, and the software will make the ROI automatically and the location like this, and you automatically obtain the result like this. Okay, this is for measuring the uniformity. And if you want to measure the uniformity or city number accuracy, not only in one slice, you can change this one to multiple slice, and you can range the slice. For example, from the slice number 100 to slice number 200, it can be. So it's depend on you and based on your need and purpose. Okay. Okay, and then we move to the homogeneity. Click the homogeneity, and you can also using the automatic or manual one. If you check the manual one, click manual one, so you have the ROI, and then this is blocking. So the blocking, it is important, especially for the OCR Phantom, because I already mentioned, because there is another object for measuring other parameters. So in this example, maybe I choose the block only one. So we have another button here. And after that, I will make the ROI. This is the example of the ROI. Maybe I locate here, and then I click the block object. Okay, and I locate here the object like this. Okay, and then I just calculate the homogeneity. Okay, and we have the ROI like this. This is the ROI for measuring the city number homogeneity, and this one is blocked, meaning that the pixel values in this location are excluded from the calculation, and we have the result like this: the maximum values the minimum values, and also inhomogeneity, because there are no standard for the city number homogeneity. And this is the manual one. If you want to measure the automatic one, you just click the automatic. So this is the distance ratio. For example, for the default it's 85, and this is the cell size, 15 pixel. Okay, if you agree with these parameters, you just click this button, and the software will detect and make the ROIs within the OCR phantom like this, and we get and we obtain also inhomogeneity here. Okay, and then we move to the histogram. Also, we can also choose the manual one or automatic one. If you want to measure the automatic one, for example, you just click the button, and this is our ROI position, and this is a block because the object for the measuring other parameters, and we will get the histogram. Okay, and we have the mean values and also the standard deviation of the histogram. And the last one, we will measure the profile. Then the profile can be in the x-axis or can be in the y-axis, and distance from edge can be set in this example 20 pixel, and the ROI height can be set in this example 9 pixel, meaning that we have the 9 lines, and we have and we will did average the profile along the position. Okay, in this example, I chose the automatic one, and I click the show profile, and this one is the line to create the profile, and this one is the profile we get, and this one is the parameters I and U, integral non-uniformity, and we get the minus 2.17. Okay, I think that's all from me, and please try by yourself, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Anam, for your outstanding presentation regarding the city number topics. And before we start our discussion session, I want to remind for all participants to fill the attendance list that have been given in the chat room. And now, before I share the opportunity for asking to the participants, I want to ask about city number first for you. The first is, we know that the beam hardening artifact is the phenomenon that occur due to the difference absorption of X-ray to the water phantom. So is the probability, if we talk about the phantom that has the casing such as AAP phantom, is the probability to this phantom having a beam hardening artifact will be higher compared to the phantom that has no casing such as ACR phantom, like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. If there are other objects with relatively high city number, the object will lead to the beam hardening artifact. But the casing, I think most of casing is from the PMAA object material. The PMAA object, the Hounsfield unit is around 130 or 40. So I think the beam hardening artifact is only, if they exist, is only very, very slight, very, very little. But if we use the other material with very dense material, for example, the bone, so the beam hardening artifact will occur in our image very clearly. So in the AIPM Phantom, of course, in fact, they also provide the other object come from the bone to mimicking the bone to make the beam alternating artifact. So if you use the AIPM Phantom, you can scan your Phantom without that object, and you can also scan your object with the object, so you can evaluate the existence of the beam hardening artifact. And in some CT scanner, they also have the the algorithm to reduce the spatial the beam hardening artifact, and in some CT center they don't have the algorithm to reduce the beam hardening artifact. So in the clinical setting, it is very complex because the availability of the technique and features. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Anam, for the first question, the first answer. And I have a second question. For the measuring the histogram of CT number, we can know the type of noise, right? And what is the importance to know the type of noise while we want to evaluate the CT, the image quality?
Yeah. If we measure the histogram of the CT number, we will know the distribution of CT number. And if we measure the profile of noise, we will know the distribution of the noise. So in this regard, in this example, we only measure the distribution of the CT number, not the noise. Maybe in the next session, we will discuss how to measure the distribution of the noise. Now, we limited only the distribution of the CT number. Okay, the CT number or the noise, it is important maybe for the after the introduction of the IR and deep learning reconstruction. Yeah, if we have the CT scanner using the filter back projection, and the distribution of CT number and also the noise will follow the Gaussian distribution. But if we measure using the different algorithms, such as the iterative reconstruction or deep learning, maybe the distribution is not follow the distribution Gaussian distribution. So it is important, especially for example, if the distribution is not similar, For example, the Gaussian or Bayesian or other distribution, the appearance of the image will be different, slightly different. So we will discuss later in the next session, I think, the different distribution, the appearance of the image will different. Okay, and it is important in this era because in this era we will detect the lazy with the, for example, the name is the omics, radiomics. Okay, so by using the image, we can see, for example, the existence of the tumors within the image, but we don't know what types of the tumors. If we want to the type of the tumors, you should make the obtain the sample of the tissue of the tumors, and you go to the pathology to check the distribution of the cell, and then you know, oh, it is the type of this one, and this one, and it is time consuming, and of course we need more costs for detecting the type of the tumors. Okay, by using the detecting the image, it is possible to detect the type of the tumors by using the distribution of the pixel within the image, by using the radiomics. Okay, by using the radiomics, by using the profile, by using the histogram, we can detect what is the type of the tumors only by using the image. It is the opportunity by using the radiomic in the future. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for your answer. And there is a question from offline participants. Okay, from Mr. Ulil.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. For Dr. Anam, I have questions. For the QC routine, what kind of scan parameters such as KVP, MES, and etc. do you recommend for obtaining the image? Do they have any limitation value? For example, we know that to obtain low noise image needs high current tube. However, when we know how much current tube is enough for the scan.
Yeah.
And for second question, this may be a trivia question, but I wonder why the attenuation coefficient in CT number should be normalized to water, not other matter like air. Does it because of water is abundant in the body, or there could be other reason? Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for the QC, of course, you have the standard for your input parameters set by the agencies. For example, the MA, EV, slice thickness, and so on. You should follow the standard for the QC because you should perform your QC based on the standard. And as I already mentioned, there are also the standard value for each parameters, such as the noise, such as the CT number, accuracy, CT number linearity. There is standard. This is for the QC and also for the compliance test. But for the research, yeah, it is important to vary the parameters so we can see the profile, we can see the trend for the different parameters. So it is different for the QC because we should perform based on the standard, and for the research, so we should measure with many range parameters so we can see and we can get the optimum values. Okay, and I forget the question number 3. I forget what is the question.
Why the CT number? Why the CT number
Why the
calculation?
attenuation coefficient in CT
Oh
number?
yeah. And this normalization is start from the early beginning of the city. So Huntsville unit, when he invent the CT scanner, they think that if the image is shown in the mu, so the range of the CT number will be very wide. So it should be shorten this range by normalization, and then the Huntsville came to the conclusion the normalization should be in the water because the water is the abundant material, and it is most easiest material found in our nature, and for easier to make the phantom from the water. Okay, I think it is based on the practical consideration, I think. But of course, we can also can normalize using another material. But unfortunately, the city is already standardized using the water. We only follow the standard. But maybe if you sometime invent other equipment, you can set your own opinion and your own desire. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Ulil.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, there is a question from the chat room from Mr. Muhammad Sofi. As we know and usually did, we measure the mean or standard deviation of city number using region of interest, ROI. How if we measure the mean or standard deviation of city number using volume of interest? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is better. In many publications, they not only measure in one-dimensional image, but they measure in three-dimensional images. So by using the measurement, the volume, the result will be better. And by using the IndoQCT, we can also measure not only in one slice, we can also measure from the three-dimensional images. I will show you how to measure that. I will open, for example, the image. Okay, I will using the city and the RCR, and then this one, and this one, this one. Okay, this is with the slice thickness of 1 millimeters. Okay, we have more than 100, and then sorry.
There is no source.
Okay. I will share the screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, this is the image of the OCR Phantom. Reconstructed with 1 millimeter of slice thickness. The number of the slice is around 213, and this one, and this one, and this one. This one is the homogeneous object, and I will measure. Okay, this one, the city number accuracy, and this one I will measure from, for example, from slice number 120. So I choose this one, slice, multi-slice, start from 120, and then I go here, and then I move to another slice until here, not 140, for example, 140. Okay, and then I calculate this one, and I have this. This is the position of the ROI, and this one is the city number along the x-axis from 120 to 140, and this one is the result. This is the mean. This is the average, not only from one slice, but from many slices. So this values is three-dimensional city number, not only two-dimensional. Okay. Again, Dr. Mr. Sofi.
Okay, I think it is clear for Mr. Muhammad Sofi. And we move to the next question from Mr. Muhammad Irsal. Very interesting presentation. My question is whether IndoQCT can be used for radiomic analysis, for example, to predict a disease using histogram data or pixel values.
Yeah, thank you very much. IndoQCT can be used to measure the many parameters in the radiomic, but you should define, for example, you should have the standard, for example, this image like this, and the radiologist has decided for example, it is from the specific problem, and after that you can measure the parameters of radiomic by using IndoQCT, and then you can correlate the number of the radiomic and with the standard diagnosis of the doctors like this. So basically, by using the IndoQCT, you can also measure the radiomic. I will show you the example. I will share the screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, and then to use the radiomic analysis, you use this button, the button number 2 from the right position, and then you click this button. This one is for the texture analysis. Okay, for example, you want to measure this metric, the first order. You can use the GLCM. GLCM is the gray level co-occurrence metric. If you want to understand more about the GLCM, you should open the book discussing about the GLCM. This is only the example. I choose the GLCM, and then I make the ROI. We can use the circle or irregular and so on. In this only the example. And then I use the pin 25, the show metric and show plot. Okay, and then I only click this button. And this is the result. And this is the GLCM. If you want to understand this, please open the book describing the GLCM, and we will obtain many parameters of GLCM like this: sum of squares, sum of entropy, sum average, maximum probability, maximum correlation coefficient, joint entropy, joint energy, joint average, inverse variance, informational measure of correlation, inverse difference of variance, difference of entropy, correlation, and so many parameters. You maybe by using these parameters, you can correlate these parameters using the decision of the doctor, of the physician. So, of course, in the future, you can correlate these parameters with the decision of the future, and it is open up the opportunity to detect the type of the pathology, the type of the cancer, the type of the abnormality only by using the image. Okay, in the future. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is there any other question or?
I think there are two last questions for this session. The first question is from Miss Adelia Octaviani. In image analysis, can a circle ROI at the center and a square ROI at the edges be used if the size of the ROI area is the same, the average data and standard deviation are the same? If possible, can you explain it? And the second, I think this question you will be answer it first. And I think since the duration of our session is mostly, and I think you can give a short answers. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, it is possible if we use the ROI combined with the rectangle ROI. For the scientific study, it is possible. But for the QC, we should follow the standard set by the agencies. It is the important. So it is different from the research, from the study, and for the QC. For the QC, we should follow the protocol from the agency, and for the study, it is free for us to make the other probabilities. Okay, and actually, I have studied in the last time. Maybe I will show you short. And please. Sorry. Step wedge. No. Maybe in the next I will show you the publication about the impact of the size of the ROI to the result of the city number and also to the noise. So based on our study, the smallest ROI should be the smallest one should be
around 25 pixels. It is enough. But if we use the wider ROI, it is better. And IAEA said for the measurement of the city number by using the ROI, 10% of the field of view, it is recommended by the IAEA. Okay, but basically by using the ROI with the size of the 25 is enough. Okay, maybe I will show you in the next the paper describing that fact. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. And the last question from Mr. Mahfud Fauzan. Is it possible in the future IndoQCT can be used on MRI images?
Yeah, of course. The IndoQCT basically developed for the city. So for the automatic one, the image should be city. It can be maybe the question arise can be used. It can IndoQCT be used in the MRI, of course, but using the manual one. So IndoQCT can measure the image quality for the city, but only for the manual option. For example, if you use to measure the uniformity, you should measure using the manual option, not using the manual, but not using the automatic option. So the conclusion is the IndoQCT can be used for the MRI, but with the manual option.
Okay, thank you so much. I think it's clear for the participants to about the city number, and it is the end of our morning session. We will continue again at 1 p.m. and you can rejoin to this Zoom meeting about at 12:30. So thank you so much, Dr. Anam, for the lecture, and see you again at the afternoon session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much for all participants. Lecture itu artinya perkuliahan.